Welcome to tonight's episode of PCC On Me. Real stories, true connections, all PCC. Our guest is Cristian Rodriguez, a professional TV engineer who began working at NBC 31 years ago. Before then, a PCC student. We'll be right back with our guest.
For us, a centennial is more than a milestone. At Pasadena City College, our centennial is a launch pad, and our rich past fuels us forward. Created in 1924 to meet the needs of a growing San Gabriel Valley, PCC was never a bystander to history. At PCC, we make history and rewrite the future. Today, PCC is a premier community college, ranked among the finest higher education institutions in the nation. And we're the best in California for helping students transfer. We are innovators and creators, achievers and leaders who embrace our responsibility to serve our community and to make our city and region stronger. PCC infuses more than $500 million into our regional economy and graduates 4,000 students every year. As we celebrate our first century, we launch boldly into the next 100 years, pushing the bar of excellence higher, certain that together we will reach new and greater heights. Join us as we write our next chapter. Pasadena City College, celebrating 100 years of excellence.
Thank you so much, Cristian, to be with us. We really appreciate your time. I would like to start asking you about your experience during PCC.
My experience at PCC was fantastic. I came here in the early 90s, took TV, radio, electronics classes, and had a blast. Great teachers, the students were great. I learned a lot, and I was able to get a job from being here at PCC, and I've been there ever since. You know, internship from here, and then got a job and still working at that same place. So it's been great.
How did you end up in that internship?
So at the time, PCC had a list of all the TV stations, and I had taken more than a few TV classes already, so I was able to get an internship, and I looked at all the stations, and there was a station which was KVA Channel 52, was only a couple blocks from where I lived, in Glendale. And so I called them, and I ended up talking to the director of engineering, and he told me to call him the next day. I called him on Tuesday, then he said again, called him on Wednesday, called him on Thursday, he told me to come in on Friday. And I went in on Friday, and I met him, got to walk around the station, and he showed me around to see what I had an interest in. And he said, he's like, oh, what about this? This is master control. And once he explained what master control was, which is putting shows on the air and running the commercials and stuff like that, I said, oh, you know what? I help out at the radio station at KPCC at the time, and I said it's very similar. It's like putting music with commercials, except here it's video. And he was like, yeah. So then he put me in there. I was there for the semester, and I learned the job. And by the end of the semester, they had offered me a part-time job. So it was great.
What did you think that made you stand out to be able to be hired?
I think a good attitude, positive attitude, and I would always take notes. I'd go in there, like almost any place where I'm starting new, I always have a new notepad or a new notebook, and I walk with a pencil or pen, but just fresh, ready to, take notes, because you can't remember everything when you start, when you're starting. So I would definitely recommend that, and a good attitude.
Making a lot of questions.
Yes, a lot of questions, because a lot to learn. Yes.
And what do you most enjoy from your job?
As much as I love the cameras, all the techy stuff, it's the people. You get to meet a lot of people. Been blessed to have met a lot of really good people. There's all kinds of people, but more than anything, the majority that I've ever met where I work is they're really cool, really nice, smart people. Beautiful people, right? Because they got to be on camera, so you get it all. It's cool.
Can you tell us about like a crazy experience that you have during your job?
Yes, I I have one, when I had just started working at KVEA, and I was doing master control, and I wasn't that seasoned, that I wasn't a veteran. I hadn't been doing that long, and I would come in. I think came in for the 3 p.m. shift, and I came in a little bit before 3, and the guy that I was relieving was like, "Oh, they just shot Selena, the singer," and it was like, I was like, "Well, that's kind of big," and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "See you later," and he left, and it was like the longest day. It was all this breaking news, and it was just all these stories, all the stuff that was coming out as, you know, her death and passed away. It's a sad story, but it was a very busy evening, a lot of stuff going on, and I didn't feel like I had that much experience, but I was very experienced after that night. I learned a lot, and we pulled it off, and everybody was happy. So, you know, sometimes you might be better than you think, you know. So we question ourselves a lot, but sometimes when you're thrown into the fire, you prove yourself. So it worked out.
Yeah, I would say like working under pressure make you understand that you can be able to do like harder things.
Correct, absolutely. Sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, that's too much pressure. But once you're in the situation, you can pull it off, you know. So yes.
I'm curious if you have like any message or like advice for students who are just starting or are interested to work in the industry.
I would say hard work, a good positive attitude, good attitude, and be nice to people, because people remember. And as much as there is, you know, it might seem like a big industry, it's not. And reputation travels. So if they're like, oh yeah, you know, because somebody knows somebody that knows who you are, or whatever. So yeah, I've seen it where, you know, you're like, oh, like somebody say, oh, you ever heard of this person works over here? Oh yeah, they have good attitude, they're a good person, hard worker, always on time. All that stuff follows you. So I would say that, you know, to always be mindful, especially when you're getting started, to be that person, that go-getter. That's what I would say.
And what would you like to tell to Christian who just started to college?
I would say keep it up. I say stick to what you're doing, because it's gonna work out. I loved every job I've ever had. I think all of them have been really cool. They've all been a little bit different, and so I would say it's gonna be all right. You know, it's as nervous as you are when you're starting college, right? And you're like, well, I don't know if this is gonna work out. I don't know if this is gonna happen, or if it's a dream, right? But it worked out, and sometimes it does, and you got to follow your dreams and give it a shot, you know. And it worked out. So I would say just keep it going, Christian.
And when you started to work on audio engineering, was that the main thing that you wanted to do? When I first started, I wanted to be a cinematographer. I wanted to shoot movies. I wanted to make pretty pictures, and it was just the path that was led, you know. So I'm like, try to do what you want to do, but don't be. I would suggest that, you know, I would tell people, don't be afraid to try other stuff too, because you might end up liking this, or you might be really good at something else, you know. And it might be still being, yes, I'm not doing film, but I ended up in TV, and I loved it. It's been great. You know, even when I go in at work at 3 a.m, I'm still have a good attitude, because I love what I do, right? So it's fun. Yeah, I'm so happy that we had this conversation. I genuinely enjoy it, and I hope that all the students can take your advices.
Okay, great. I hope so.
Once again, I'm Karen Mariana Cárdenas Ceballos for PCC On Me. Real stories, true connections. All PCC. Thank you and have a good night.